Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, y'all? This is Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration.
Yes, we is.
So Emily and I have been talking for like 40 minutes, and we should have just hit record.
Oops.
We would have had 2 episodes to put out today.
That's how this podcast started. We're like having conversations, and we're like, that should have literally been a whole podcast episode.
Yeah. So just a little tip to everybody out there. Why not just record everything you're doing and turn it into a podcast? Ew.
Yeah. You started it.
I can't.
I couldn't not take that. One of my personalities is a 12-year-old boy.
He's back, ladies.
You put it right out there for me.
So if you're still with us, oh gosh. So, yeah, it's, I'm feeling a lot more like just creative and silly today, I think, because I've been I know we're not in Aries mode anymore. We're in Taurus mode, and I'm liking it. I'm digging it because I was so slingshot forward, like light the torches and charge forward. And I did so much stuff last month. I just can't even wrap my mind about, like, how did I do that? What happened?
I do love that energy. But then, yeah, it's only sustainable for, bursts of time at a time. And then, yes, that Taurus energy can be nice and grounding afterwards. And those two energies actually split my moon sign.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, technically, if you look up my birth chart, I read as a Taurus moon, but I've gotten into some stuff that looks at moon signs specifically deeper. And because of, I guess, my birth time and the time that the moon was transitioning kind of coincides. So it says, you could very well feel a lot of traits of an Aries moon as well, because it was moving from Aries to Taurus, I guess, at that time. And that resonated so hard. I was like, oh, there's the fire, and the propensity to, but in my less mature days, the propensity for like a more reactive and, potentially kind of ragey type of emotional energy. And then, some of Taurus resonates.
But kind of fun. What I'm picturing, this energy that you're describing is Will Ferrell in the movie where he's saying, "Come on, guys, we're going
streaking. Woo! Yeah.
So we're going streaking in the quad."
A little bit. But then also like, and I'll fight you too.
Oh, gosh,
that kind of thing. Like,
throw punches while you're...
It's a combination of a bull and a ram. All right. But the bull can kind of peck at the flowers for a little while before charging, where the ram's just like, ah!
They do.
So, and then, the Taurus love for food and rest and find the finer things in life, beauty.
I'm digging it. I still feel like the creative, like keeping keeping spinning and emotion kind of thing, but I do feel a lot more grounded and aware of what's happening. Like you said, like stop and smell the flowers kind of thing. But I had a good time. I'm not saying I didn't have a good time with all that was going on. I just don't know how I did it.
Yeah. Because you had fire. Literally lights the fire under your ass.
Yeah. So
and we need that sometimes. We do. We need that. That can prove to be very useful. And then when it's time to take a rest and stop and smell the flowers, then it's time to do that. And I like this morning when I woke up, I was like, I had to like stop for a minute. I was like, am I tired? Like I had really good sleep and everything. And I'm like, am I tired? And then kind of as the morning went on a little bit, I'm like, no, I'm just really relaxed. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But that was kind of a different, I literally had to ask like myself, like, am I tired? No, I'm just so relaxed that I'm just,
Yeah, just chill. Yeah, it's that chaotic energy that, well, out of chaos comes creation, but it doesn't, feel necessarily the best when you're in the chaos. And that's kind of like, I guess everything happens for a reason, but part of my experience in the past couple of weeks has been preparing for speaking at the International Feng Shui Guild Summit again this year. And it's the third time that I did this. And it was probably like the most intense time in terms of preparation for the talk and really just like the energy that I felt in it. I don't know. We kind of usually have the summits around this time of year. But I put the invitation out there around the idea of living in a chaotic world. And what does that mean for many of us today? And doing a real temperature check with like, how is everybody doing? Just, are they feeling the chaos around them? It's period 9, it's age of Aquarius, Pluto shifting. Lots of reasons why we may be feeling chaos. And those are just a few of the things, but there's climate changes and cultural changes and systems changing, all of these things happening at the same time. And so many people responded and so many people showed up. And so I'm so glad that I took that time to really deeply explore what that meant for myself. But, anytime that we show up for the podcast and anytime that I show up for a talk, checking in really like not just with ourselves, but what is the energy of the collective and how are they receiving the energy? And it just kept coming up. There was a lot of dispersing energy that people were feeling, and that can be separation of self. It can be separation of friends or partners or businesses, or separations from companies. If you're an employee, there was a lot of that happening all at one time. But then right on the other side of that is creative power, and it came up in nearly everybody's reading. And so it really felt
we had that last week.
We did. We had it. My creative loafing vision session winner had some crazy energy like that too. And in her session, everybody had it, and it just kept repeating. So it was like, okay, this is so right now what we need to talk about. And by the way, the summit was super cool there. So it was 2 days, 24 speakers. You could attend it for free if you attended live, and now you can buy the recordings. And so I popped in just to get a sense of like, what is it like? How many people are there? And because it's like word is getting out. Word is getting out to people that there's more to life than just what you see and just what the systems that you understand every day, like the practical systems. People are starting to understand that there's modalities that work with things that we can't see, like feng shui, that really help support, really help to ground and help us to understand the cycles of not just ourselves. Everything is secular, but to understand the rhythm of the universe outside of seasons and of life and of the year on the calendar. So I don't know, it was really wild. I'll say, so I did like a temperature check top of the presentation. I was like, drop in the chat, like what are you feeling in terms of chaos? How much is it really impacting you? And I mean, there was no one below an 8 that chimed in, and it just was, I couldn't even keep up with comments. That it seemed a lot of people identified with calling, referring to themselves as empath. A lot of people really believed that they were retaining a lot of the energy of the chaos, whether it belonged to them or not. That was a common theme. And I thought it was interesting because I had not really explored that when I was preparing. But it was a resonant theme across the board that maybe the chaos wasn't personally in their environment, in their social world. A lot was, like I said, like a lot of people got laid off, a lot of people had breakups, a lot of people experienced all these shifts. But even just witnessing chaos across the world on our devices, people were retaining that energy. And
I have some strong opinions about that.
Yeah, tell me what yours are.
Said with empathy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
That's a boundaries issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you discover, that you consider yourself an empathic person,
Mm-hmm.
and that you are, retaining this stuff, and you continue to do so, I believe that's then a choice.
Yeah.
Because I believe boundaries are a choice, and that includes, and which these may be the toughest boundaries to implement, but with yourself. And I'm talking about, if you find that being ultra informed,
yeah,
is problematic for you, that is a choice. And we are not designed to be as informed as, especially on an instantaneous level, as we are to this day. And you've got to set those boundaries up for yourself, in terms of what you consume in the media and otherwise, who you're placing yourself around, which obviously there's only a certain degree of control with that, mm-hmm. sometimes with work and what have you. But even if, there are people in situations that you do not have a choice but to be around, there are other measures that you can put in place. And I'm sure you can provide some insight on this energetically in terms of boundaries. Mm-hmm. If you consider yourself an empathic person and you are having issues with retaining energy, that is, in my strong opinion, a boundaries issue.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. And I'll argue too, the word empathic has evolved into something that's become a label.
It's a little trendy now, isn't it?
It's a little trendy. And I think once you make that your title, that's a choice that you make, that I'm an empath. And that just means like I'm uber sensitive. And I'm not here to discount anyone who believes that. Mm-hmm. I come from the stance that we are all born with intuition and intention. And mm-hmm. I agree. There's, life is a test of boundaries forever, no matter how strong we are, how staunch we are in our boundaries, each phase we're retested again and again. So we did explore in a big topic, and I think you touched on a lot of it. That's the output, is digital detox. Now, like a lot of our listeners inherently are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are required to hang out a lot on social media, myself included. Before I started my business, I had maybe like 10 friends on Facebook. And now I have like 4,000. And that's really a sensitive thing for me. Talking about boundaries in terms of that. So, and just having to spend that amount of time on Facebook, Instagram marketing, I think it's necessary, LinkedIn included.
Sure.
I'm not,
scrolling isn't necessary. And the unfollow button is a great boundary that nobody even has to know that you pushed.
Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with the people that I follow. And I follow so many. Like, I don't follow the unhealthy things, but
well, it's not a problem then.
Yeah. But I would never have known about them. I remember, when I was married, and my ex at the time had started his business, and that was right when Instagram had started, and he spent so much time on Instagram. I'd be like, why are you spending so much time on Instagram? Like, what is there? And he's like, you just don't get it. And I didn't. I felt like it was such a separation in our conversations and relationships because he had this whole community on Instagram, and that he was checking in with constantly and responding and so on and so forth. But that like digital detox component has only in the past, I'd say since 2020 really been becoming a good trendy movement that you hear people talking about, but it's like a necessary, and it's a daily balance for me, to be honest. Like, I'm sure you notice every now and then I'm scrolling and I'm sending you things that are making me laugh and things that I think that are interesting.
Well, to me, it doesn't cause us a problem. That's a net positive, Yeah. I think we just have to be really honest with ourselves about what content is doing what for us. Is this adding value to my life? Yes or no? Right. Personally, when I spend my 10 minutes in front of my red light, looking at the reels that came in that day, that is a high quality use of 10 minutes for me.
So you mitigate, you balance. There's a little bit of yin and yang. So Emily scrolls through her blue light sitting in front of the red light. Just want to put it out there.
I do. That is a huge justification for me.
Oh my gosh. Blue pill, red pill.
Yeah. And I still, I still do have a boundary for myself because I have the size of my red light. This is a tangent. The size of my red light is such that I actually have to kind of rotate like a taquito at 7-Eleven in order to treat all the spots that I want to. So I'm really spending about 30 minutes total every night in front of my light. And Olivia and I both, on the last treatment that I do, we both have agreed to turn off our devices by that point.
That's good.
And she has to participate in some sort of relaxing activity, and I'm already doing that. And so, we find, but there's still boundaries around that, right? And those are the ones that I find that work for me. Everybody else can, individualize that.
Everybody can find their own, but just to have that conversation, and if you're in a husband-wife situation like I was in, have those conversations. If you're in a family conversation, have those conversations, and with yourself, put up those boundaries.
Yep.
And it's going to be different for everybody for sure. But so that did come up quite a bit, like in conversation. Digital detox, there's ways to do that with boundaries in terms of time setting. But also there's crystals that are helpful in mitigating digital interference, mitigating EMF. So I'm putting a disclaimer out there that, anytime I put information like this out there, it gets flagged.
For entertainment purposes only?
For entertainment purposes only. Even if it works on a subconscious level, they're the black crystals are known for,
Love
the
it.
tourmaline and.
I love obsidian. I've got
obsidian. Yeah.
I've got a little mini collection. I got one around my neck.
Yeah, those are really good
ones
for boundaries and protection. Likewise on the other side, using crystals like selenite to clear your aura field, also around your electrical devices. I think one day I came in for my workout and you were saging your computer or something.
Oh yeah, I do that a lot. I've got chunks of selenite all around. I like to put chunks of selenite in the corners by the door.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's a lot of times, and there's practical ways that, and intangible ways that you can secure your energy. And I know that a lot of people, I get called to ask to help people with crystal gridding. But there's so many ways that you can, I don't hold any special power. I love to do these as rituals with my clients, and I love to help explore this and co-create environments with people, but it's not any special power that I have or that you have to crystal grid any environment. It's something that anybody can do. So there was, a little bit of discussion around crystals and ways to do that. So I was still in my Aries, like tail of the Aries energy. So I did add a lot of free resources to my link tree that include different crystals and practical and intangible ways, transcendental ways that you can work with your environment. So there's some guides that have been added, and people are eating them up. So I think it's really been on people's minds that they just heard the word chaos. They're like, yes, me, that's me. So a lot of people wanted to explore, like, how does chaos, we know it affects us internally. How does that show up in your environment? How does that show up in your body? So, perfect segue there too.
I mean, look, I think chaos is nature.
Yeah.
Right. We live in an inherently chaotic world. And I think it's all about controlling the controllables and which is mostly having to do with ourselves. So that said, how can I'll say less than ideal manifestation of your perception of chaos show up in your body? Fatigue, for sure, right? Exhaustion, just that general kind of burnt out, drained feeling, which can also manifest as just stress and anxiety, pain. Okay, pain without obvious etiologies, and tension, restriction in movement. And of course, we I'm a trainer. I'm going to tell you to exercise, right? And we
and that's like oftentimes the last thing that people, like, I have daily check-in calls with a lot of my friends. Just being a business owner, we check on each other for accountability. And I hear, like, gosh, I look another day, I just feel so drained. I feel so wiped out. Like, it's like doctor appointment. And I think, and it's not with me. I'm not the one to tell people or, what to do or to offer advice if they're not asking, but they'll say, I really need to get moving. I need to take a walk. I need to,
that is a walk outside or inside if need be, but a walk outside is because look, obviously I'm a huge advocate for strength training, resistance training, and I think that everyone should do some form of it. But, in the midst of exhaustion and stress and anxiety or whatever, however that kind of manifests for you, maybe certainly going and doing a bunch of burpees, or even going and lifting weights appropriately might not be the prescription right for that time frame. But a walk outside, or even just a gentle sort of yoga, fascia-based movement, just gentle movement to stir up that energy. But in particular, a walk outside can be some of the best medicine that you could ever ask for. Everybody can do it, right? There's really low barrier to entry. I won't say there's none, but there's a really low barrier to entry. Even if it's just going and taking a quick walk around the block, right? The last thing you want to do, and you can attest to this as well from an energetic standpoint, the last thing you want to do is be stagnant.
Exactly.
And allow that to, fester. Because you will get stuck that way. It will get worse. Whatever it is, it will get worse, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, whatever it is, it will get worse if you remain stagnant. So any type of movement at a gentle level is going to be a great thing. And then, there are some of us, and I say us because I am definitely in this category, who may lean a little too much into exercise in certain ways, in order to kind of try to mitigate this energy. And for those of us and some of us can split both lines. You know what I mean? On one day we might be the feeling just like a sloth, and on another day we might be I'm gonna go crazy. So in either case, the key here is balance, and what is really the need of the body and the mind, and the convergence of the two in the moment. So this may be looking at it from a perspective of hey, how can I utilize movement to activate my parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest, relaxing, restorative part of our nervous system, but without remaining stagnant.
Yeah. I mean, all feng shui practitioners, all energetic practitioners, and body practitioners, health practitioners, we can all agree on avoiding stagnancy, avoiding imbalance. There's the yang imbalance, where you tend to overwork, overdo things, stress yourself to the point where your body's in stress and panic, like you just described. And then there's the stagnant, like shutting down. You're going to be more sensitive to tiny little sensations when you're stagnant. Things are going to be blocked. I was thinking, my biggest red flag in my body when I'm not in balance because of stress is eczema. So there's systemic issues that will flare up. And, that's purely a result of a direct response to not physical stress, but mental stress. And
one propensity may lead to the other, right?
Yeah.
Go balls to the wall and then fizzle out.
Yeah. And also, rhythmically, we were talking a little bit before we started recording, and I wish we were recording because we were checking in about our various programs inspired by Fast Like a Girl, which is around the rhythms of a female body system. And, so kind of know when I'm going to have like a peak week and I'm going to be super active and on point and I can do a little bit more. I'm not going to try to do that load of things in a week where my body is just like, okay, you need to rest and restore. I shift gears. And I listen a lot more now, whereas when I was younger, in my 20s and early 30s, I would just do hit like every day, all days of the week. And I wasn't as sensitive. But now that I'm in perimenopause, it feels so much better just to be like, okay, and my body, it shows up in my body that it's better for me to shift gears in different direction. And during that time, I do put more time into my space. So when I'm downshifting on things that are physical activity as much, not that I'm not doing them. I'll tell you, like, the one thing I did since, I guess, the beginning of the year, and I realized, like, I have my kids with me. They were kind of stuck with me for a while. No school and vacation and stuff like that, is if I'm not able to take the long, 1 hour, 2 hour walks that I do when I don't have them, we do like a little rebounding hula hoop together, more intervals of that throughout the day. Anyway, so the point of that is just to keep the lymphatic system moving, because as I'm in perimenopause, that shows up. It shows up every, like, my face immediately gets like a different shape if I'm not working on that system, if I'm not doing the dry brushing, if I'm not, taking the 5 minute breaks every now and then to get that movement in. It shows up fast, and that's an unfortunate and new thing that I'm experiencing now that I'm 47. But anyway, so that's the body red flags of needing some support during chaos, whatever that may mean. But there's the whole point of this talk was to be able to give people a sense of empowerment. Like we both say, and we both agree, chaos is necessary for creation. But when you have tools like exercise, feng shui, personal routines that you can rely on, it feels like you're steering the ship more than just being tousled in the waves.
100%. And I'm going to throw in there as well, from a nutrition standpoint,
right?
To make sure that we are supporting our body and our brain function. Again, going back to a couple episodes ago with real food.
Yeah.
Real food and nutrition, that we're not sort of succumbing to the and then perpetuating the roller coaster of cravings and blood sugar variability, and the consumption of the ultra processed foods that are just not providing us any nutritional value, and at the end of the day very much contributing to, if you're having symptoms of chaos, I'll call it, and you're not paying any mind to like what your nutrition is potentially doing to your blood glucose, that will make it 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
When you're spiking and then crashing your blood sugar, that is a horrible feeling that overtakes your entire mood and behavior and interactions with others.
Yeah.
So it's just something to be mindful of, that we're really especially in the times that we may be feeling overwhelmed or stuck, or whatever the over perception of chaos makes you as an individual feel that we are not just putting fuel to that fire.
And
I
mean that, the nutrition ourselves. And the sleep, the nutrition and making sure
sleep.
that
the sleep.
Yeah. And like, what does your environment look like that you're sleeping in? Because a ton of people in the summit were tuned in on the summit from their bedrooms because they're working, they're doing their like work or their devices in their bedroom.
And that's not recommended, is it? To have your workspace
like
in
to
your
a degree.
Bedroom?
Yeah, it's definitely not to have your workspace. And I understand electronics. Where my school of thought in feng shui is, will work with the modern. There'll be more than just what we have today. There's going to be electronics everywhere. There's EMF, there's readers that are behind our bedroom walls. There's all these things we need to be aware of, but being aware of them, then you can mitigate the effects of them. And I mean, working in your bed, for example, or watching a day long of summits from your bedroom in a weird position, it's bad for your body.
Sure.
So, I mean, it was hard to peel away from a lot of the talks myself, but I'm glad I had the recordings because, just to sit and be so enthralled in something and like the posture, I have posture issues with the amount of computer designing work and marketing and so on and so forth. I'm always having to take breaks, and I definitely don't want my shoulder to lock up like it did last year. But laying on your bed with a computer is like a huge no-no. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And taking care and guarding your sleep and being aware of it is important in modern health and anything you ever talk about, but it's
the best supplement that exists, whether for mood, fat loss, muscle building, general health, every health component you could think of. What is the best supplement? Good quality sleep.
Yeah.
Period.
It's been like, that's one of the first foundations of feng shui cures, is to evaluate where and how you're sleeping.
If it weren't one of the most crucial elements of human vitality, we would have evolved out of it because, caveman wise, it puts us in a very vulnerable position.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like,
but there's just no other way for our body to cleanse and regenerate itself, especially with the advent of all the modern exposures that we have. We have to, like you said, guard and protect that time.
And the just in the thread that is intertwining all of this is to create an environment and a sense within yourself that you are safe, and that you're secure, and that you're protected. And however you can do that, and that you can see very well too, because see meaning have clarity, mental clarity, see meaning be able to have your wits about you so you can see threats or opportunities. These are all very primal experiences, but when we have those taken care of, it really helps to shore up your energy in a way that you feel empowered, and you're not going to be toppled over by any wave. You'll see those opportunities. You'll be able to call in helpful people. You'll build your relationships. Turn on your own personal marketing for what you're really meant to do in your life journey. And sometimes we need those tower moments in chaos to really just shake 100%. It out. So anyway, I don't know. thanks for letting me talk about it. I think I was pretty pleased about the results. Everybody who showed up was super excited to tune into the podcast. They were like, we didn't know you had a podcast. So lots of new listeners were welcoming in. I encourage everybody, if they haven't, to definitely go to our link in our bios and in the description to download our 2025 alignment guide, where we always talk about things like this. And we may not write them down every day, but we do provide some prompts to help you to journal, and also check out any of my materials that I've been generating as a result of the summit. They're free. They're tools. They're meant to be used and shared widely. And come inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective. It's nice in there. And I think we have great people there. We have people that are just doing some amazing things, creating systems, helping people, really good hearted people, figuring things out, really being change makers, thought leaders in whatever industry or whatever they're doing in life, non-for-profit, so on and so forth. So the more, the merrier. If it resonates, the right people will come in, and we do a little bit of vetting. So it's not the wild, wild west, but we have really great people inside of there. And so I don't know. I'm enjoying Taurus energy, and I'm going to, enjoy smelling the flowers. When you were describing the Bull.
Smell the flowers now. Gemini season's coming.
Did you and Olivia ever watch there's this Disney movie called Ferdinand the Bull or something? Oh my gosh, you should. It's Taurus season. You maybe should check it out. And I maybe it's Ferdinand. I don't know the rest of the title, but it's this cute story about this fighting bull that's a youth, and he has a dad, and then he escapes the bullfighting thing. And when you said bulls will stop and smell the flowers, there's this cute little scene where he smells the flowers, and that's what I was picturing. My daughter is Taurus, so
yep,
she vibes with Ferdinand, and that was one of her favorite movies.
Okay.
That's my
cute.
That's my loving image of
it on Taurus. One of my streaming platforms.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You can maybe watch it on movie night if you guys watch it. But for everybody else, that's the image I have of Taurus. And Emily's birthday season is upon us. So
close. Enjoy the relaxing
before
things
season. Get crazier. She's coming on leash
while it's here. Yes.
All right. Well, I am going to go get back to my Taurus vibes and boundaries and crystal grid.
I think that Taurus is a good representation of boundary energy, actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
Stubborn like a bull, right?
Yeah,
and using that in the good sense, in that, for example, protecting your sleep.
Yeah. Sleeping.
No, I am going to be bullish about that.
I'm not going to stop eating this food because I'm hungry.
I'm
not feeding
as long as it's the good food.
It's good food. I was eating the role of a bull. I don't know what they eat, like grass. That's what I think. Okay. All right, guys. That's all we have today.
That's all for today. Catch you inside the Funhouse. The Conscious Collaboration Funhouse.
Changing the name temporarily.
In the future.
Yeah. How's that resonate? All right. All right, Emily. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you in 5.
Talk to you in 5. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few.
Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.